country club, Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it. Ain't a country club, Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it.
Okay, firstly, I gotta address apologetics. It doesn't make sense, I'm not sorry, I don't get it. The fact that he was crucified means that we're all indebted. We should demand to have a culture that doesn't soon forget it. Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess it. Christ is king, listen up, get the message. The time is short, the deception is impressive. The church itself is corrupted and wretched. They preach about grace, no righteousness expected. God gaze at the pulpit because their sin is accepted. The devil calls, they don't even try to reject it. They're employed by Satan, they are tax exempted.
Ain't a country club, Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it. Ain't a country club, Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it.
It's neither land of the free, nor is it home of the brave. When you got people here killing babies every day. And all the Christians here think that they can get away if they throw a couple bucks into the bucket on Sunday. But I don't think that that's the way it works. He said to seek the kingdom and his righteousness first. But you wanna grab a handbag, a Rolex, and what's worse, you think that you deserve it, but the bubble's about to burst. It's time to rise, sell the cloak for a weapon. Got the sword in my left, in the right, Smith & Wesson. And I don't think it's wise for you to try to be testing. If you become a Goliath, then I'ma teach you a lesson. It's apostasy, and what the cost will be is the people in the church state accosting me. But I'm speaking honestly, you are not the boss of me, because I only give allegiance to the one true king. And I don't care if we burn down this whole country, cause it's wretched and rusty and rotten, stupid and ugly. And I got no love for churches and preachers set up above me, cause their democracy's about to be replaced with monarchy.
Ain't a country club, Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it. Ain't a country club, Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Main Character Podcast, made possible by the Christian Dominion Movement. That's you guys. I'm Con Man, and thank you for being here. We are back Wednesday, trash day, hump day. Y'all already know what time it is. We'll pop right over to the chat and say hi. Looks like all of our early birds are already here. I'm actually really impressed how many of you guys are already here tonight. Hey, first things first, I apologize for being a couple minutes late. I was a little out of my element. Coming back last week was totally fine. It was like being just thrown into the fire. Felt good. This week, I feel like I actually had to think. I had to come back and be like, all right, can't just rant about why I've been gone the whole time tonight. So let's talk about some real stuff. And there's some real stuff to talk about. In fact, I hope I can get to all of it, because some of this stuff I was supposed to talk about last week, and all I did was rant my head off. So with all that being said, let's stop in and say hi to everybody. It looks like we've got like everybody here. It's good to see you guys. Welcome in, as always, to the Main Character Podcast. This is level 101. And I'm very excited because we have a really good topic to break into in the second hour when we get into a whole vein bulge kind of thing. But before that, we do have some stuff, some news, some updates, some things to talk about. But before we get to all that, let's say hi to everybody. We've got, the gang is all here, I can tell. We got Spirit and Truth, Wendy, popping in early with that awooga. I don't know where mine is. Problem here. One sec. We just... See, that's what I'm saying. I'm out of my element. 1 second. There we go. Okay, welcome back. All right, good to see you, brother Starman. Good to have you in. It's been a while, my man. Good to have you. It's always a pleasure to have you with us on Wednesday night. I know you were saying it's the first time you've been here in the live stream for a while, man. It's good to have you. Welcome in. We've also got Cage Fighter. Welcome in, Cage Fighter. And Mama Khan, as always. Love you, Mama Khan. Welcome in. And Heliocentric also joining us this evening, as well as Amelia Petrella. It's just all of our regulars in the house. We got Linda. Welcome in, Linda, as well as Little Seasoned and Spicy Jenny Layton. Good to have you here with us. And it looks like we've also got Brother Bruce in here as well. That is a serious honk. Everybody loves their honk. I gotta fix this. I keep saying I'm gonna fix the bus horn, and I just haven't. But hey, we're making progress, one thing at a time. Okay. I just figured out how to get CDM logo. I was like trying to get the scrolling logo. It's not right. Something's not right about it. I think I need to have two on top of each other because it loops, and it's like there's too much space between it before it loops back around again. I had something special rigged up for the gold Cult of Con logo. I'll have to fix that to make that all work. It's a transitional period. Bear with me. We've grown in a lot of ways too. There's some changes to Patreon and all kinds of stuff to talk about when we get there. So we will. When we get there, welcome Tim West. Good to have you as well, my friend. Tim West was the one who informed me tonight that the sound was in fact working. When he was saying, is the sound gone or just me? And I was a little worried because everything looks good on my end. And I was like, great. It's crashed out. We got XP Black Sheep 715. Welcome in, my friend. And we got Mika. Mika also made it in. Good to see you, as well as Adrienne, Petrakovitz, and Lucas Williams. Good to see you guys. It's great to have all of you here for Wednesday, Trash Day, Hump Day. We've also got Mad Pax in the house. Good to see you, my man. I gotta say, Mad Pax is one of the people in the community who's like a car guy, like me, and we've had our little moments back and forth where he's encouraged me to keep going. Same with Rob, Starman, and a few others, Bruce as well. You guys know you are my car guys out there, and car girls too. Apparently we've got some of those as well. But anyway, it's been really good driving Bam around. I drove to work today in the old thing, and it's got its stuff like the blinker stock doesn't, you turn and it doesn't go back to center. It just stays on now because these screws came loose in the column. I had to take the steering wheel off and the airbag. It says, yay, German car stuff. But hey, the car's running good, and a lot of that is thanks to the inspiration that I got, the support I got from some of these awesome members in the community. So whatever it is that you're working on, how do I put this? I encourage you to keep persevering. Seriously, you can do it. Whatever it is, even if it means taking on a new skill. I've never messed with anything electronic, and I totally rewired that whole burnt section. Very proud of myself. Thank you guys for your encouragement and your support. Just wanted to say so. We also got Tan Oki in the house. CDM Go Destination Kingdom. Yeah. Guys, it's great to have all of you here, as always, for Wednesday night, Trash Day, Hump Day. As you know, hopefully I remember to put out the trash. I think it's only trash this week, no recycling. But there's plenty of trash to put out this week, including the things I have to talk about. And again, you guys know I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but with so many things happening on the horizon, I have a responsibility to react to at least some of it. So I will be sharing with you guys my opinion about some of the recent events in the news and current breaking geopolitical and also some other little kooky stuff that's happened recently that you never know what you're going to get here. It's a wild card place, so it's good to have all you weirdos here with me for a little Kool-Aid tonight. Let's see if we can get the bus all caught up. I saw that Jillian made it in. That means that brother Aaron's probably not far behind. God bless you guys. We also got Blake Higgins. Welcome in, my friend. I hope I didn't miss anybody. I think we're just about at the front of the seat, and then otherwise it's Kool-Aid Factory, and I don't know what's going on back there. Good to see Alex. Welcome in, my man. Rob says, glad to hear cruising around, brother. Yeah, dude, it is. It's pretty elating to have finally got it on the road. It's certainly far from perfect. I had to rebuild the whole suspension. You can tell it's tired, and sometimes when I come around a corner and run over a bump, the left side goes boom really bad. I'm like, oh, that's not good. Probably something to do with the ball joint. I think it's got a bent control arm or whatever. You know how that is. Apparently, and I found this out, and I'll just share this with you guys because it's super funny. I had for the longest time been unsure who the original owner of this car was because there's a very strange name on the title. I'd have to get it out and look at it, but it's a name that I'm not familiar with. I was trying to always imagine what kind of person it was that owned BAM before me and how they were treating it and what kind of lifestyle they must have been living. And then I don't know if I told you guys about this. There's a 6-disc CD changer in it, and I just for fun the other day while I was in the trunk and I pushed the button on the CD changer and the little cassette tray. It's not cassette, but the little CD cartridge came out with a bunch of discs in it, and they were all straight up Indian music from India. It was so funny. My brother and I looked it up, and it was almost who listens to this? It's imagine you were making a documentary about India, and it was the backtrack music for your documentary about India. It was so funny. You drive around listening to that, just instrumental Indian music. But hey, you know, they took good care of the car. I think they just probably got to the point where like everything's breaking because it's old, just cut your losses. When you spend like $5,000 on a car repair and then within like 2 or 3 years you have to do it again, most people are like, I can't do this anymore. Especially when you get older, 5 years doesn't seem like a long time. I can't begin to tell you how many times I've been like, oh, well, we just did that. Like what, last year? 5 years ago. You're getting older. Okay, it catches up with you. But hey, one thing I haven't done yet is fix the stereo in that car, and I'm working on that, and I can't wait to jam that. I'm not even going to change those discs out. I'm just going to leave them in there. I'm going to be blasting the Bollywood soundtrack at full blast at the stoplight with the windows down. People are going to be like, what are you doing, man? I should just start embracing it. No more shoes. I'm not wearing any shoes anymore. Say goodbye to that. I'm going to start wearing those really comfortable pants. You know, those like high rise. Yeah, I'm about it. Yeah, it's definitely like Bollywood music. It's definitely like the sound of India. There's no other way to explain it. How about if I can remember next week, I'll give you guys an example of it. I'll show you guys the disc and then we'll play the track and you'll laugh. It's so funny. It's great. All right, guys, it looks like we are up to speed on all of our guests this afternoon. So let's talk about some of the good businessy type stuff before we get down onto all the nitty gritty. Let's say first things first, a special thank you to all of our wonderful supporters over on patreon.com/currently the Cult of Con, soon to be / the Christian Dominion Movement. We're still in that transitional phase, but hey, look at all of our wonderful Kool-Aid cultists being abducted. I don't think that there's any better way to live than to be abducted by God's kingdom. So I just thought that was a good illustration. But thank you guys for all of your support. Thank you for being here and for helping to power this growing community and this show and everything that you guys are doing there on the Patreon support network. Really appreciate you. And I should probably take this time to announce that we are, in fact, doing a merch giveaway. I brought this up last week, but just for those of you guys who haven't heard, we're giving away a Zealot t-shirt, which is the premium supporter merch for CDM. And it has all the goodies on it. You get the CDM shirt badge, and you also get Cult of Con Origin badge on the other sleeve, Zealot shirt. These are spendy because they're really like the most direct way to support the channel. If you're not interested in doing Patreon or you don't just want to send a donation, you want to get something for it, you get a cool shirt, but you also get to contribute. The rest of the items on the store are priced pretty much as cheap as possible. It's not really a lot of profit there, but it's a way for you to get something back out of the show if you like what we're doing here and you like the movement and everything we're on. It's just an option for you. You can find these shirts at the CDM shop. We have a little thing. It had a preset where it said discover our exclusive range. Like that's like what it says for everybody. And I just adopted it. And so I turned it into this like little jingle with like a Justin Timberlake style voice where it's like, discover our exclusive range at the CDM shop. Yow. And anyways, so that's where you can go. CDMs-shop.printify.me I think is what it is. Wendy's dropping the link in the chat there for all you guys. It's like right there on the screen. But yeah, feel free to drop in, check out some merch. But again, we're doing this giveaway. The grand prize is a Zealot shirt and one other merch item of choice from the assortment, the posters, books, and all that stuff. And then the runner-up gets to have one of the regular tier shirts. So any shirt of your choice, or like you could do the journal or poster or something like within the regular price range. So 2 main winners are going to have a chance to get a couple cool items for free, and we'll link with you and get you all set up. We're going to do the drawing for that at the end of the month. The way to enter is simply support the channel during the month of August this year. So if you want to become a member on Patreon, you can join for as little as $1. Of course, it's free to join, but in the essence of the raffle, you'd want to join either at the $1 tier or higher on Patreon, or you can send a one-time donation of as little as $1 to paypal.com. That is at thecultofcon@gmail.com. So feel free to show some support for the channel if you feel like entering. Otherwise, thank you guys just for being here, for watching the show, for hanging out, for all the mental illness that I have to offer you on this channel here on YouTube. All right, let's see. What else do we have to say here? Also, consider joining our growing community on Discord. The CDM, Christian Dominion Movement, is growing. We've had a network there on Discord for a little while, but we're actually starting to get the ball rolling here. We're sorting ourselves out into little subgroups for the various intents and purposes. We have a prayer group. We have, fellowship and support opportunities. You can meet people, talk with people. It's a good kind of a central hub to talk with people from the community at any given time of the week, a chance to reach out to myself or any of the moderators of our community, share your thoughts, share some information, whatever you feel like, get plugged in, come be a part of it. You can get this link from Wendy here for it. It's right there for the Discord in the chat. Feel free to join us. There's a short little, I guess you could say, questionnaire thing because we're trying to filter so it just doesn't just fill with spam bots and crazy people. Not that there aren't already crazy people there, but you know what I mean. Anyway, so as we're growing the community, that's kind of the place where we're working out of. That's our community hub there on Discord, the CDM Discord. And feel free to join us over there, like I said. Another thing that's important that I announce about the CDM Discord community is we have added a new community layer, and that's going to be what's called CDM Kingdom Recovery. And so we're working to build, basically, like I said, like a support layer in the community for people who are coming out of darkness. I know like a lot of us in CDM are like zealot Christians, been chasing the kingdom for some time, and it sometimes takes a while to get that serious, but some people are on fire right away, and that's a beautiful thing, but nevertheless, it takes time to adjust from one kingdom to another, to kind of get out from the darkness of our past or the lifestyle that we've been living. And for so many people, that can manifest in different ways. For some people, it's the trauma of the hardships of their past, or maybe they've been dealing with personal vice and sin and darkness in their life, and also the struggle of substance abuse and addiction. And what we want to do is create a network that's grounded in the kingdom of God and the Christian belief system and faith, and create a support network for one another there. So if you're somebody who has been or is currently struggling with darkness in your life as you work your way forward towards the kingdom, not that we don't all struggle, but I mean, if you're really in the trenches, you know what I'm saying? There is support for you available there at the CDM Discord in our new Kingdom Recovery group, and that is really just like an opportunity for you to find some peace. You can be yourself, say what you think, share your experiences, and obviously the rules are pretty strict there. Anything that anyone says in there needs to be treated with privacy and confidentiality, and if anybody brings anything out of that group into any other public setting and violates the privacy of that, you'll be fully banned from this community and ostracized forever. So be respectful. God bless you. Anyway, so with that being said, please join us over on CDM Discord for fellowship, friendship, communication, organization, and rest and recovery. Love you all. Hope to see you there. Very interesting to see how you can go from kind of the world of darkness to a community of great people who love you and care about you. And that's really what you find in the kingdom, and it's really what we're trying to exemplarize with the Christian Dominion movement. And obviously we have our share of moments where we don't agree on everything, and sometimes we butt heads as individuals, but we're focused on what's really important, which is Jesus Christ, his transformative work, his kingdom, and everything that he has planned for us in eternity. So that's our primary focus. And like I said, with our new group there in CDM, it's to give people a chance to kind of learn to make positive lifestyle changes and to have support and accountability for that, to, make sure that we're continuing forward on the right path and accountable to one another. And basically the goal is to learn to take these vices of our material past and our flesh and the things that separate us from God, to take that prison and replace that prison with purpose. And I think that's really important because as Christians and as believers, we so often learn that living in darkness is bad, but we don't often learn how to replace that life of darkness with a life of light and goodness. And it can be very difficult. Again, I've told this story before, but I've been in churches where I've seen young people come out of addiction and a life of recovery, find the church, find the kingdom of God, and they reach for more of it, but they don't find any platform there to give them a different lifestyle option. And I really want to build an on-ramp for the future of this community, not just for CDM, but for all peoples in God's world, so that when you decide you don't want to live in darkness anymore, you're not climbing up an unlimited, huge, steep mountain by yourself in the dark. We need to be there for one another. I think it's one of the most important aspects of the body of Christ, is that we lift each other up and help each other through the hard times. That's almost more important than defeating the enemy. We could die in an enclave together, taking care of one another, and it would be more honorable than fighting against a world of heathens and not being loving to one another, and especially the world that so desperately needs the love of God's kingdom. So we definitely need that. If you want to be a part of that, please consider joining us. Learn to replace your prison with purpose, CDM. God bless you guys. So what's interesting is in the last week, I spoke to some old timers of these guys, old timers, whatever, older guys, right? And they used to come down and play pickleball at the place I work all the time. And when we installed the new turf, the field material changed, and so you just can't really play pickleball on that grass anymore. It's just too soft, too plush. Imagine that. Steak too juicy, lobster too buttery. You know what I mean? But anyway, the pickleball is over, and so we don't really see these guys anymore. And one of the regulars, a guy named Joe, he came in just to see how things looked after the remodel. I ran into him, and he's like, hey, we never talked much before because I was working. He was having fun with his, retirement community buddies. And it was really cool, though. He and I got to talking. He was there with his friend, Rich, another old guy, and they were talking to me about the Lord. When I wear a little cross necklace, not as big as this one at work, but I wear a little cross just because. I know it's not like the perfect way, but it's a little representation, right? Like, I believe in Jesus. And it opens the door to conversation, and these guys wanted to talk to me, not knowing really what kind of a guy I am, but having a cross. Do you go to church around here? No, I don't, unfortunately. But hey, we do have a really awesome Sunday service church community. We get together for fellowship. We read the Word. We study the scriptures. We're doing that now. And I got to share a little bit about, what we're doing here with these folks. And it was a really cool thing to finally be able to have something to say about what I do with my life when it comes to Christianity. Like, so, you're a Christian? Yeah. So, what are you doing? You got a ministry involved in church? It's like, yeah, we're doing it right now. Praise the Lord. That's a good feeling. But anyway, I was invited by these folks to come to their regular established Bible study with like a decent group of people who come. And they wanted me to come and talk about this stuff, like the kingdom and CDM and stuff. Because basically what happened was I told them I was like getting ready to go outside and like drag the trash can around and pick up trash around the parking lot. I'm like, well, I'd love to keep talking to you guys, but I'm on the clock, so you guys are gonna have to like follow me around. So these two guys followed me around for 40 minutes in the parking lot while I'm picking up garbage. It was such a wholesome, like a beautiful thing. And it really was a divine thing. When I woke up that morning, I didn't feel good. I didn't want to go to work. And I thought, you know what? I'm going in late. I was planning to go in late, which I've never done. Super weird. Like I was slipping a little. And if I had gone in late, I never would have run into those guys. I never would have. They showed up at like 15 minutes before the regular opening time. They weren't even really supposed to be in the building, but the door was unlocked. It's like the Lord arranges the cosmos, sometimes. And so I'm very eager. They technically invited me to come this Monday, this week that just passed, 2 days ago. But I just hadn't. It was too short of notice for me to be able to sort things out. But I think next week I'm going to try to go, and if they're interested, I'll share with them, our perspective on this whole thing. I mean, it's crazy because it's like guys that are older, people who have been around for a while, have been learning, current Christendom for such a long time. And I'm not trying to say that everything's wrong, but I worry how to deliver this. This could be a very good opportunity, like a golden opportunity, or like a really bad disaster. And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, imagine getting thrown out of someone's house for being too zealous or something. I don't think that's going to happen, but either way, very cool to be invited to share the stuff that I'm talking about here in real life with people who really are eager for God and the Word. And it's just like, what a treat that I get to have some part in that. I really would rather just listen. Why don't you guys Bible study and I'll just hang out? Either way, it should be an interesting conversation. I'll keep you guys posted on that. Another revelation of mine is that growing up, I was always really big on, I've liked a lot of things. I've been a very eclectic person all my life, but I've always been really big on video games and like multimedia technology and movies and like entertainment. I've always been big on entertainment. That's kind of like, it's a given, right? But I was a big video gamer. I was always really into movies and TV shows and like entertainment, creative, like art, creativity. We used to make all these dumb little movies when I was a kid, and like my brothers and I would make it weird. My mom knows all about it. And I've just always been really into that, cinematography and storytelling and, environmental creation and just like art, design. And, being a big video game guy all my life, I've always really enjoyed it. But when I became a Christian, and got serious about the kingdom, I kind of found that there really wasn't a lot of time to be a video gamer, especially with, video games being so just absolutely devoid of like, there's not really ever in this point anything other than let's just kill stuff and you know what I mean? It's gotten scarce. Not to say that there aren't games that are wholesome, but the general narrative is that we live in this kind of atheistic, godless world. So every property that exists is just within the atheistic, godless world is just like gratuitous violence simulator, Anyway, look, I don't think video games are evil. I think if it's something that you spend too much time on, you have a conviction about, or it's like costing you time with your family or with your kids or whatever, I mean, obviously we should be responsible enough, but I think that obviously as an adult, you should be able to have fun and chill out, and sometimes video games are a good way to kick back. Maybe you there's one game I've been playing lately called Windrose. It's like a pirate game, and you can build a whole pirate base. It's like beautiful. I build a warehouse with a dock, and I got this beautiful lighthouse vacation home on top of a rock cliff side there. It's gorgeous, okay? I don't think that's evil. I don't think it's evil to have a little fun. And so I think there should be time for that, whatever it is. If you like to read books, watch movies, play video games, I think that there should be space for that in people's lives, but I feel like it sucks because we're constantly competing with a world where all of the big properties and all of the big production is owned by heathen studios and evil, Jewish, and what ends up happening is it's not even woke nonsense and just subpar quality, overpriced. You don't get to keep the copies of your game because it's only digital. Any kind of sin against humans, any kind of immoral, darkness-based just degeneration has occurred. There used to be a sweet simplicity to multimedia entertainment where it was we really just want to make the best product because that's what people want and that's how you win. And then it started turning into how to convert people to subscribers and how to just how to incorporate the message and everything that it turned into. Just it kind of ruined it, and it's been on my heart a lot lately. And one of the things we've talked about a lot in CDM in general is the idea of generating wealth, of kingdom quality wealth. And, I think that video games is kind of the last frontier. It's kind of the last gold rush of our age where normal people can get their hands on computers and can come up with a concept of a game and using the available technology create an actual playable, viable, sellable experience. And I know that because I've played through several of them recently, some of which have sold millions of copies and thusly generated millions of dollars. Windrose is a good example. They sold 5 million copies of that game, and they're $30 a piece. So what is that, $150 million? Whoa! You can't do that with I'm going to start a contracting business. You're going to have to bust your ass for a long time to make 150. I don't even know if you can. 150 million, man, that is a lot of garage doors being installed or whatever it is you do, And so it's just something that's been on my mind. I like to play video games in my downtime. I've been thinking that one of the things I want to do is kind of expand myself as an online content creator. And over the years, you guys have seen me experiment with different kinds of entertainment, including stuff like morning fitness motivation videos, of which I should probably get back to. I mean, we all need a little motivation to get up in the morning. But I also used to do a show called Guys Gotta Eat, where I would go and try fast food, and I have a little piece to unload on about that today, too. But nevertheless, I've always been kind of trying to figure out what it is that I really want to do. What is my main thing? And over the course of the last, I think, 2 years with the channel, we've learned that main character podcast and Sunday service are so important and so just vital to my creative outlet and my commitment to everything that we're doing with the movement for the kingdom and everything. So those are staying, right? But I've almost felt I want to be here more. And I don't think I could do this unless I had a lot of free time. I don't think I could do this kind of show every night or 4 nights a week. I don't know how some of these people do it. I feel like I go crazy watching the news and then talking about it later every day. Oh my gosh. But nevertheless, I feel like I want to expand my horizons, and I think that some point down the road, you're going to probably find, not promoted here or played here, but I will probably have a Twitch stream, and I will start Twitch streaming, playing games, and it'll be a combination of super laid back and also just real raw commentary I give about anything and everything, because that's just how I am. We'll be playing, and then it's something about muskets, and then I talk about the way that gun rights and it's a diatribe waiting to happen, so maybe down the road you'll see some CDM gaming. If that's something you guys are into at all, you can find me over there. But in addition to that, I intend to as we continue to grow and expand the CDM brand and community, I want to produce video games. I think that there are people in this community who want to do that, who have a fire for that. And I think that, like I said, it's a way that we can generate something that people will want and that they'll play and that they'll have fun with. And it'll be able to fund our operation without being like, beg everybody for money to donate to some fantasy pie in the sky. Like the way that you prove that you have the merit is by trusting God, taking the risk, and doing the work. And if you produce something good, it speaks for itself. Okay, and then you don't have to be like, imagine my mustard tree after it's developed. You know what I mean? I really appreciate people who support the community now. But it's easier when you make your own way in life, in a sense. And I think that that's something we'll expect to see. Christian Dominion Media, which will have a place in the modern entertainment sphere in video games, movies, hopefully TV shows even, like Prime and Netflix style movies and shows, because I think that there's nothing preventing us from doing that and being able to inject into the world the gospel message. Like in the same way that the deep state and all these guys are running all these propaganda networks, and it's like Netflix cuties and wokeism 101 and stuff. I think we could do the same thing, but with Christian Dominion, and kind of like the gospel message is being like rammed down everyone's throats, like in the context of cool movies and shows. But like the bad guy, I've always thought about it, it's like it's the Wild West and the bad guy, and it's like he's evil, and then they're like, well, you think you can hide from the eye of God? And then the bad guys are like, the Lord and I ain't had too much conversation of late. Like even the bad guy acknowledges the existence of God and the devil. And they've just decided they're corrupt, because that's generally how it is. Not this weird, like every show is about weird homos in space where there's no God. I just like that with that. You can produce that, but I'm just not. I need to watch something that doesn't suck, for crying out loud. Please. So with that being said, the future of CDM will also include 2 advanced, I guess, breakaways, not breakaways, but part of our portfolio is Christian Dominion Movement, which is the heart of what we're doing. We have Christian Dominion Ministries, which is going to be our like churchy element. And then we have Christian Dominion Media, which is going to be like entertainment and movies and shows and games. It's happening. I'm very excited. It's cool to have, like, it's already kind of, the path has been set for us. It's very exciting. I'm excited to compete with Brokeback Space Mountain. Exactly. Can't wait. Anyway, speaking of video games, there's something that happened about a month ago, wildly inappropriate, but this show's for adults. I have to remind you. But yeah, video games, this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? We have to be able to compete with this because there's no alternative. Check this out. This is the Captain America. There's a fighting video game called Marvel Rivals, okay? And it is known for having characters that are a little, their animation is a little suspicious, to say the least, and this happened about a month ago, but I never got a chance to talk about it. This is the Captain America Seaside Sentinel skin, which you can buy for the character to wear, like, as the appearance as you play. This is Captain America. Check him out. You know, they say that this swimsuit that he's wearing is, it's actually based on a comic book where he was wearing that jumpsuit at some point. They say that's America's ass. And apparently it's brought the whole bakery. Anyway, this made a good like sting across the internet at first, because everybody was like, this is just so brazen. Like, look at the bulge on that guy. There's one where he's like sitting in a chair, and it's so massive that it doesn't even, it's like glitching through the chair. Well, he's got different little emotion, like little, what is this? Oh shoot, so we're in game. Wow, yeah, those are some glutes. Okay, I think we've had enough. I just thought you guys would find that funny, that we're, this is what I'm saying. It's a joke, it's funny, but also, what is the alternative? This is a game for people who are fans of like a mainstream intellectual property. Like, I was like, oh, I like those Marvel movies. Yeah, the kids. Hey, Dad, can we get the Captain America summer skin since it's sunny outside? Sure, son. Oh, shoot. Yeah, they're not playing around here. You know, I was thinking about it since this is level 101. I guess we should touch on the thumbnail since we're here. Level 101, Little Man Syndrome. As you can see, it's my Dr. Evil and Mini-Me. I even thought this was creative that I made my other one short on the 101 because it's like the Mini-Me. Anyway, there's a whole, like, I swear to you, it's an actual... There's something like philosophical and actually worthwhile to discuss tonight. I'm not just showing off America's ass, but there is a point to tonight's episode, and we'll get there. But you know how I am. I got to get warmed up. I was thinking about this whole 101 level 101 thing, and what came to my mind was 101 Dalmatians and like Cruella de Vil. And I was trying to think about maybe doing an episode that had something to do, because it was the first thing that came to my mind was the number was coming up, not what are we talking about. And so I was like, oh, maybe we do like a Cruella de Vil type thing. And you guys know I'm a car guy. So I was like, wait a minute. Cruella de Vil's car is savage. It's actually really sick. And I couldn't find, look, in the first movie, it's all like night when she's driving around because it's really ominous in 1996. So it's not until like the 2000 movie, 102 Dalmatians, that you really get a good look at the car, but she's cruising around in Paris like a bat out of hell, and it's just a great scene and just totally awesome. I'll run it and we'll just talk a little bit about it because it's just cool. You probably get copyrights for this, but we're really just watching it to inspect the very awesome what is it called? It's a Panther. It's called like it's escaping me. Panther de Vil, I think is what the car is called. Let's go. Let's get it. Totally outstanding piece of equipment right there. Anyway, not that this has any relevance in reality at all. It made me think of that car, and like being that I've become like a German car guy. I like old cars, Euro cars, and like what came to my mind was how much this car makes me think of like, you know, like if it was like a 770K Mercedes, like, you know, like Mustache Man rides around. Hey, that's, I think, what it is. The car speaks to me because it reminds me of Hitler. Cruella, stop! Anyway, just a little funny moment in time. I don't think I've seen this movie since the year 2000.
Reinventing the poodle skirt.
Anyway, just a little random something or other since we're there. And then the next thing on my list to discuss is this idea I've come up with, and maybe this is like the crazy side talking, but like, have you guys ever seen like movies, TV shows, intellectual properties that have hell as like still on the earth but like separated by a dimension, like it's another layer, like as if there's like a shroud or like a veil between hell and earth, or like the realm of the dead, or like the place of the devil, or what, you know what I'm saying? I'm just being proverbial here, but just think about this. Like Devil May Cry is a good example. The universe of like Doom, like the Doom guy. There's a lot of these examples, okay, where the dark realm is separated from the physical realm by like a layer, like a veil. And there are stories of people being able to see through the veil, or in paranormal environments, you know, you'll discuss things like electromagnetic field spikes, or like thermal interruption, like it gets cold spots and stuff. And a lot of people point to this being like manifestation of dark energy, and it's like takes the heat out of the room when it tries to manifest from the other side. And you know, I thought to myself about this. It's in the V Rising vampire game. Dracula, the head vampire, was defeated by the Church of Luminance long ago, and he's trapped in this place called Mortium or whatever. It's like this realm of, and he sends monsters through the realm all the time, but he's too powerful to fit through the rift or whatever. The long story short is that, like, if you're a big monstrous demon, you can't get through. This is like the general lore, and then there's always some alpha demon trying to open the portal to break away the separation of the two worlds. Like, this is central to the Devil May Cry show that's going on right now on Netflix. And So it's been in my mind a lot lately that there must be some kind of truth to that. Maybe it's not entirely that, and I'm not trying to say that I really believe or know what to assert about it, but it's been something that I've always kind of thought, like maybe there is like a dimension we can't see, and that they're present in it, and they're trying to get onto our realm so that they can wreak havoc, experience carnal experiences, so on and so forth. And, this thing came to my mind, this phenomenon that I'm sure all of you guys have experienced at one point or another. Like, have you ever just been sitting there and you got like extremely itchy, or you even felt like a stinging, like a pinching, and you're like, I just got bit by something. I got a bug crawling on me, or a bug just bit me on the, you know what I mean? And then you look and there's no bug. You're like bit, or you're itching, and like maybe you've done this before. You just itch because you're like, yo, what was that? But sometimes you look, you're like, yo, what's itching me right now? You're like, what is this? Why does it feel like I'm being bit by something? There's nothing there. And so I've coined a new term for this thing I call invisibugs, which are in my Kool-Aid mind, invisibugs are like tiny demons that like come through the rift. They're small enough that they can come into like invisible ghost lice, invisible like like demon spiders from another dimension, invisibugs. Okay, so if you ever get bit by something or you find an itch that just seems too itchy and not explicable, invisibugs. Okay, I rebuke invisibugs. I assume that there's some truth to it. There's probably invisibugs coming through the rift as we speak. All right. A little more serious stuff to talk about. Apparently today, in the early morning hours, Eastern Seaboard, and even earlier out here on the Pacific Coast, looks like it was probably 6:33 a.m. Apparently, this isn't true, but they said there was going to be no gravity for like 7 seconds. This is another one of those things that it kind of came and went, and nobody really talked about it because it was like, there was a lot of hype at first when people were like, oh, Project Anchor, like the world will experience 7 seconds without gravity, and everyone was really hyped on that for a second, and then obviously, that came and went, and no one was flying. I can think that if I had 7 seconds of no gravity, I'd like jump onto the roof of my house or something. I'd probably just jump as hard as I could. 1, 2, 3, yeah, and like just fly way up. Of course, I'd probably be extremely injured when the gravity turns back on. That's like a bad dream I had one time. Like I gained the ability to jump really high, and then all of a sudden you jump really high, and you're like, oh, and you're like falling back to the ground. Man, the human brain is crazy the way it can cook up experiences like that, like flying through the atmosphere and stuff. Where is that coming from? I have literal no experience being able to jump to the height of like hundreds of feet. I don't know why I have such realistic dreams of stuff like that. Maybe in some another life, maybe like it's like visions of the aftermath or something. I don't know. In other news, I have a number one fan. I have a new top fan. Like, as you guys know, I don't want to say the name. I have a nickname for this one person that doesn't get along well with me, but I don't want to say it because I don't want to get... People think I'm petty and then be like, he's driving division. He's not. He's a false teacher. Like, let's try to not give him too much ammunition for crying out loud. But anyway, I thought for the longest time I had one person who's like my main detractor, my main hater. And they're always like, they thought I was gone and they were like posting on Instagram like, it just goes to show you. I'm back. Anyway, I have a new, not new, but like I recently discovered I have another detractor who like makes, not specifically about me, but long diatribe videos, like 2 hours and 45 minutes about me and others. And I like looked into it a little bit because my initial response was like, I had a really bad interaction with the last person that was out to get me. I think I'm going to approach it differently this time. I'm not going to be so like, I don't care. I don't care what anybody does. I'm going to try to bring people on who don't like me. I want to talk to people who don't like me and don't agree with me. Because I find that funny. Because I am so, I'm totally resolute. I would never have even gone down the path I'm on if there was just no other choice. Like, if God hadn't just made it so abundantly clear that I'm supposed to be doing this, I would not be here. I'd just quit. I'd just be, like, stoned in my car or something. There's obviously a plan, okay? And so the point I'm trying to make is that I'm here for a reason, and I'm serious about why I'm here. And so one of the things I think that should be addressed, at least, about this hater, I would have him on if I thought they were in good faith and they just needed to talk. But the guy's like, nah, he says stuff about me that is like, I don't think he's ever watched a single video. I mean, there are some moments where you would think he did because, like, for instance, I guess Wendy was telling me that in one of his videos, he was like picking my Sunday service apart, like the original Sunday service. It was like the first episode of Sunday service, I think. And he was like trash talking me on Sunday service. And to me, it's like, again, I'm pretty thick skinned, but I just like, that is so horrible. Like, what an awful person. Some guy gets saved, decides that he really is passionate about the kingdom, wants to contribute somehow, but has no church that he's involved in, doesn't have any real avenue to the kingdom. So he's like, well, at least I can make videos about what the Lord has put in my heart and on my mind in the last week and share it with the people, and hopefully, you know, even if it only reaches a few people, maybe they'll find it edifying, and perhaps the Lord's light will be amplified in their life just by listening. It was a very like selfless, like, you know, you don't get paid. I don't even try to ask for money on Patreon for Sunday service. Like, we just treat that as like, that's fine. If you want to support the show because of this, support it because of this. But I don't want Sunday service to be like a manipulation ministry so that people try to give me money. That's so ridiculous. But just the idea of somebody trash talking that is wild to me. I can understand if you're like an evil atheistic heathen and you're like, look at him talking about his fake God, and like you like hate God or whatever, and you're like really disturbed. I can see why that would be that, but you're supposed to be like a Christian. You're like, at least talk crap about my glasses, or like he says too much profanity. Get me for something I'm guilty of, for crying out loud. Don't be like, the worst offense is, first of all, insulting a man's humble service and service to the Lord. That is cold. That is like icy. You're gonna have to face the Lord for that one, my friend. But really, when it comes to the things I'm responsible for sorting out, the main argument this guy has is that he says that I don't prioritize what's important about the kingdom, which is literally my central message. So I don't think the guy's really much of a participant. And I feel bad, you know, sometimes, because I wish a guy like that could he could be invited on and have a good faith conversation, because I would want to talk to him, and I'm sure he would come around and he'd be like, you're good. I've even thought about it, like it would be cool to have like a Rivera type. You know how Fox News, they used to have that Geraldo Rivera guy who was like a Democrat kind of guy, and he would basically counteract all of the stuff that, you know, whatever Jesse Waters or Sean Hannity or whoever was being the right-wing guy, he would be the left-wing guy and kind of the detractor. And I would think it would be cool if we had someone in our community that was a respectful detractor. Like, they don't believe me, they don't believe in dominion, they're like a do-nothing doctrine person, and they're all serious about it. And then we're like friends and cordial, and they like, you know, we could have a good back and forth about stuff. It would be fun. But again, this guy, I feel like he's just misguided and looking for purpose too. It's actually kind of sad, because for 2 hours and 40 minutes he just talks and kind of drones on about nothing of any real value, and it sucks because 2 hours and 40 minutes were lost, but you could have done something of actual value, you know, considering he talks about the prioritization of the spiritual changes that are brought about by Christ. And I literally say, seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, which is what Jesus says, and all these things will be added to you. So if you're talking about spiritual transformation, the transformative work of Christ, the Holy Spirit imbuing upon your body and life, that's all, like, that's literally the central message. So I don't know why you say that's not my message, but that's weird. But again, this is a guy that like trash talks a guy's first ever attempt at Sunday service. Like, that's crazy. But I think that it's part of something bigger. It's part of a bigger issue, which is kind of tied into where we are tonight and as a people in the world right now. And people are just getting bored. I think that's the best way to explain it. Like, if you have 2 hours and 40 minutes to talk crap about a small YouTube channel that has not yet affected the large scale situation, then that means you're bored and you don't have enough to do, and you're not busy enough, and you don't have purpose. And that's sad. That's like the exact opposite of what I mean, if your purpose is to detract from me and somehow that helps the channel grow, then you fulfilled it. Good, I guess. But no, it feels sad. It's like a waste of energy, a waste of time. 2 hours and 40 minutes lost. And that's because, again, people are bored. And it's a fate worse, in my opinion, than total societal collapse. That we go droning off into oblivion slowly. That's worse. I would rather have cinematic, climactic, explosive finish. I would rather have it be like, God, like in Terminator when everyone gets nuked and they're like ash on this, like, you know? At least that kind of makes sense, that there was some climax to all this craziness. But no, it's like we've entered now into this terrible, like, where we've fallen off. Like, humanity has fallen off. And I know the geopolitical spin continues, the culture war continues. Go spend an afternoon on Facebook and tell me what you find. I advise against Facebook and X, except for the absolute necessary reason to browse whatever stories are trending, because it is nothing but smut and degenerate hate. I've never seen anything like it. It's actually, it's amazing. I think a lot of it is because it's the internet. I think a lot of these people just act bad online because they're hyped up by situations. Like, they wouldn't even act that way in real life. I think most people are more reasonable in person, at least you would hope. But anyway, people are bored. And boring is a bad thing. Like, that's like I said, that is a fate worse than total collapse. Like, if we're actually so bored that nobody has anything to say. And literally, because an NPC can only take so much inshitification before the program snaps and they can't function anymore. It's one thing to be a crazy, aware of everything type conspiracy person who they insult you, but it's like they don't understand. They're living peaceably in ignorance. The rest of us are. We're carrying the burden of knowing. I know people, okay? I know people that come to my work, and I wouldn't do this to them because it's not my business, but like walk up and like, what's on your mind right now, coworker? Tell me what you're thinking about. Okay, work stuff. Well, what's on your mind after work? What do you think about? Oh, the sport game. Oh, dinner. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I want to be like that. I would like to be an NPC. But again, you can't be an NPC when the system doesn't work. You're supposed to be able to like walk across the little bridge and go to the little stall, and then you stand there for a second, and then you come back and go over to the other place, because your life is this pre-programmed thing. They've told you what to do and how to act and where to be, and you do all that, and it works, except for that it doesn't anymore. And all day long on the internet, I see people like Jack Morgan and other content creator reactors who are pulling videos of individuals off the internet, Twitter and X, and TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and short videos and stuff. People just talking about that their life isn't working anymore. Normal people can't do their normal life anymore. They can't afford the rent. They can't afford the groceries. They can't afford the gas. People are crashing out. And it's causing people to become not NPCs anymore. And for better or for worse, however you want to look at it, but the fact is you can't just be a drone floating along when there's no water in the stream. Like, you're like fish flapping around on the riverbank right there. It's not going well for normies. And again, the distractions were effective for a time, but it kind of becomes like, after a while, I don't know. I heard somebody put it this way. They said, the bread is stale and the circus is boring. And I don't think I've ever heard it more succinctly put. It's like, at first it was like, oh, sports ball, oh, America, oh, Iran war. There's always something to get you. It's Donald Trump. He's the biggest liar ever. Like, pick a thing. There's a thing for everyone. Somebody who's been murdered, some sort of a race-based, some sort of guy. They've got distractions for everybody, and I think this is what it comes to. The people are running out of mojo. I have been watching YouTube videos for 15 years, and I'm not trying to insult anybody at all, but I feel like I'm getting bored of content creators because nobody has anything to say, and they know it too. They know they have nothing to talk about, so people are just making things up. And I get that, because it's like, well, you made this your income, you made this your living, and so you got to figure out how to say something. And this is where I feel like this guy, it's like he's not successful as a content creator, but he wants to be. So what do I make videos about? What that guy over there is doing. Like, just continue. Like, I'll find another guy and try to piggyback him. And I just like, to each their own. Make whatever content you want to make. But for me, I want stuff to move. I want action. And when people get bored, they start looking for something else to do, which I love. Because people are getting bored of this shit system, not changing, not getting any better. Everyone continuing to pretend like it's not happening. Worse, pretending like you're crazy for noticing. Well, that's not one that can go on for very long. Don't worry. It cannot go on for long. And I see it because it's breaking mainstay people. Characters that were established to just float because everything floats, they're not floating anymore. They're crashing. And I don't just mean financially. I mean like a human. Their personality is crashing because they can't do it anymore. Like one of these examples, it's why I don't do my show, Guys Gotta Eat. The other day I went to... Where was it? Panda Express. I went to Panda Express. And Panda Express is kind of a run-of-the-mill. It's like a medium quality Chinese fast food. And I'm sure if you live in kind of a bigger, better city, your Panda Express is probably pretty good. If Probably sees a lot of customers, a lot of overhead, a lot of oversight. But I live in kind of like a bum part of the country. It's the only way to explain it. Everything over here is just a little more in shitified than other places like Texas or whatever. And my Panda Express has gone down the hill rapidly, and it's funny. The long story short is that I drive extra far to go to the one that's down there with the drive-through because I like the convenience, okay? I think we've talked about this. And I went down there, and this Panda Express, it was like orange chicken chow mein. And the chow mein was like 90% stale, crunchy cabbage and like no noodles. And I'm like, well, what is this? If I wanted just a pile of like rotten cabbage, I would have asked. It's like you pay $17 for a bunch of leaves. You know, it's like I'm seeing through the BS here, okay? And I like wrote a nice 1-star review telling them the shitification has hit every level of society and there is no excuse. Corporations think that they can get away with robbing us and that we'll just keep buying the goy slop. Just eat your slop. And people are just not doing that anymore. And even me, I used to be the kind of person who would never complain. I would never do anything because I just wanted to stay out of the way. I hate people that get in the damn way. Shut up. You know what I mean? And, man, look, I'm not saying Panda's bad. I had a really bad experience, and so I wrote it up this time, a 1-star big smoker, like an entire page-long review about how this is an example. This is a microcosm of a large-scale system. This is a microcosm of the big picture where these corporations think they can just maintain their profits by raising the prices instead of giving us quality product, instead of paying their employees a wage that makes them show up with a smile. The service sucks because they're dying. They're destitute. There are people who are working Panda Express 45 hours a week and cannot afford the rent where they live. And I'm not a liberal. This is just a fact. You could blame Democrats for it. I don't care. Blame whoever you want. It's happening. And this is an example. The Panda Express is $15 instead of $9, and it's junk. Okay, so that was bad. And then where was I yesterday, the day before? I went to Taco Time, which is just a classic. If you still got a Taco Time around, I guess get in there now before it's gone because it's going to go out of business. I went down there, crisp burritos, right? They were supposed to be. I feel like my dad said they were 39 cents. I wasn't around for that. Crisp burritos were $5 and change when I went over to Taco Time. $5 for a burrito the size of a pencil. It's like, it thinks it'd be 99 cents, and then in the worst times, $1.49. It's like there's like a possum ground up inside of that crisp meat burrito. Crisp meat, they call it. They don't even say what the meat is. It's, you know what I mean? $5.39. Crisp meat burrito. I went over there, 2 burritos, a little bag of tater tots, and a small drink. $17? I'm about ready to just throw the tea in the harbor, for crying out loud. Like, what? I know I'm not the only one because I watch Jack Morgan, and every video is another person being like, this is ridiculous. And it's spreading. This is what I'm saying. You can't just keep NPCing for long because it's breaking down. The system's collapsing. The example that comes to my mind is there's a famous food review, like the #1 food reviewer of all time, probably, Report of the Week, Review Bra. You guys probably know about him. He's been around forever, wearing granddad suits and everything. Nice kid. And he has had stock market impact because of his videos. You know, Taco Bell puts out something, he says it's crap, boom, tank. The stock takes a hit because this guy sways the market because people watch him because they trust him. And I've seen his videos recently aren't even about food. He kept trying to review food, and it just kept being so shitty that the entire video was just him being disgusted, having wasted money, and being upset. I saw him do a video recently, it was a couple weeks ago now, but he was just ranting about the state of the country. He had no food to review. He was just talking shit about the state of the world, and I was like, I'm so right about this, man. That's it. The bread is stale, the circus is boring. I'm not wrong about this. And I love to see the proof. The proof is in the pudding. And things are getting crazy. Like, I advise you guys to watch this. I can't leave a lot of commentary on it because of the state of things now. But let's just say the Hodge Twins channel, those guys have done 2 interviews in the last couple weeks. One was with Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit, and the other was with Pastor David Manning, that Harlem black preacher guy. Like, I highly recommend just watching those because we're living in a crazy time. That's all I can say about that. But yeah, things, you can't stay the same anymore. That's what I mean. We can't just, no one can. I like being ahead of the game. I like having a game plan. I like trusting God, taking the risk and doing the work about whatever it is God's called us to do. But seeing the discombobulation going on in everybody's thing is actually, it's heartwarming to me. I hate that people are going through chaos and trying to figure out what's going on, but I also understand, like, it's got to happen. People got to wake up one way or the other, and I see all of this as not, like, it's not QAnon, and it's not the end of the world, the end times, wars and rumors of wars. Like, I think both of those are hyperbolic and ridiculous. But what you can say is that God wants people to move from where they are to where they're going. And I don't think that there's any person who can argue with me about that. God wants his people moving towards a life of righteousness and his world moving towards his promise of a better, brighter future for his people. I think that every time that people think that they're just going to sit here and wait around is when God decides to wake people up and move. So it's like you get a Moses when it's time to leave Egypt, and then you get Joshua when it's time to leave the wilderness. And every time God needs people to move, he brings people in and says, let's move, okay? And I'm not trying to equate myself with Moses or anything, for crying out loud, but I'm just saying I am joining an ever-growing crowd of people who say the things I say and agree with me. I'm no headliner, I'm no trailblazer, and again, anything I say that's good or true came from God and Jesus. I am just a guy who would rather not be the guy, but here I am. So because I'm here, I'm going to talk about it. And again, the state of the fast food in America is abysmal. And I'm not just talking about the quality, the price is out of control, and the job of having a fast food job is the worst. It's the worst it's ever been. It's a dark, terrible time for the economy being operated by giant evil corporations and being the people who either serve the corporation or purchase from the corporation or experience the product of the corporation. We're failing on every end. And this is not limited only to fast food, but we see that in many different categories of the world. And I think that the only example I can think of, and you guys could probably agree with me on this, the only fast food company right now that's doing it right is In-N-Out. And like In-N-Out is literally just night and day compared to some of these places. I went to an In-N-Out. We have one up here in our area now. I went there once at like 10 in the morning, like 2 weeks ago. And you get hot, fresh, delicious food, and it's like literally half the price of other places. So if I have a food place to recommend, I recommend In-N-Out. Why not? They're the only place doing it right. High quality, high integrity, excellent service, and good food at a good price. Like, no, they're not paying me to say that, but it's the only thing left. It's the only thing left that's any good, okay? Eat it In-N-Out, or I guess, like, I don't know, eat your goy slop. I don't know what else to say. But Crispy Chicken says, I was satisfied with Wendy's back in June. I love Wendy's, and I like to get their breakfast. I didn't know they had breakfast. They have really good little, like, potato wedges, JoJo's, and they have great little breakfast sandwiches. I think their breakfast is killing it. And if you get to Wendy's and they've got good staff on there and everything's going good, it's a great option. But Tenoki says, In-N-Out's way overrated. Well, the thing is, again, it depends on where you live, because out here where I live, there's, like, nothing good except for the classic fast foods that are abysmal. And so In-N-Out it stands out a lot. Again, price and quality and comparison. I don't think it's like the best thing in the world. I think there are better burgers out there, better fries for sure, but they cost way more money. So it's kind of the exchange. Like when we're poor, we're kind of figuring out how to like scrape the bottom of the barrel here. Mama Khan says, I watched a show that was comparing our food levels to other countries, and our ingredient lists are literally chemicals. Oh yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we have chemicals going into food that are literally illegal to be inside the country in places like Germany or the United Kingdom. Like, it's not only not for food, it's not allowed to exist. So, Giant Tree's right. Wendy's is expensive, especially for the quality. Again, good food, but not worth the value of the price there. Anyway, that's the state of the economy right now, that fast food is expensive. The cheap food costs a lot. That's wild. And, I've heard a lot lately about the success of Trump's economy in the second term and, all kinds of whatever fictional numbers being posted about the imaginary inflation numbers that are just not congruent with reality. But the reality is that gas is the economy, right? Like, when I don't care what inflation says. I don't care what Americans are paying way less for their gas and groceries. You're full of shit. And I've seen all these Trump people talking about on the internet about like, It's whatever, Joe Biden's aggregate gas prices were $5.05, la, la, la. Well, this is what I paid at the Shell station nearby me the other day, $5.70, $5.69.9, $5.70 a gallon for Nitro V-Power. Look, I get that's premium gas. Okay, Bama Lamb's a thirsty girl, and she only takes the premium stuff. But look, what kind of an American cannot drive around in a V8 car without being bankrupted by the gas cost? What country is this? We're supposed to have V8 power over here. We're supposed to be the country that's like got all excess, not because it's a good thing, but because it's the narrative. Oh, we're so big, we're so rich, we're so well off. It's literally, I saw a meme earlier. I should have saved it. It was a picture of that bridge in what part of the container ship hit it in like 2023. It's been laying there in ruins. They say they probably won't have a bridge until 2030. We talked about this on one of my shows a few months back. That bridge is still in ruins. Iran has rebuilt all the bridges that we blew up in the last 90 days. They've already rebuilt them and they're fully in service. We've got bridges that are 3 years rotten, sunk into the river that are not being fixed. And the meme basically was talking about how they say that nobody knew when it was that Rome fell. They just noticed that the roads and bridges stopped being maintained. And then I was like, that's it. That's where we are. The roads and bridges are not being maintained because American empire is over. It was so grandiose that we're still living in the wake of its shit. $5.69 a gallon ain't happening. When I was like, oh, NPCs, like you can't continue, like you can't. You can't continue to pretend that it's okay. I'm glad. No offense to anyone. I love you guys, and I believe you should. I just said we should be able to drive V8s. Trust me, I'm driving a worse V8 than you. Like, if you have like a pickup truck that you drive to work, which is a much more frugal choice of a vehicle than a 90s German sports car. But nevertheless, I'm getting 14 or 12 MPG, so I feel your pain. But literally, this is like, it's what, I'm glad in a way that there are people who are like big, like, Trump supporters that they're proud and refuse to accept reality, and they're down there and their gas tanks are costing more than ever. I'm glad. You deserve to be robbed. They do. They should have to pay my gas tab, damn it. I'm sorry. Anyway, it's unacceptable. Unacceptable. It's all bad, housing, cars, groceries, gas, public order, the culture. It is degenerating right before our very eyes. Again, I hate to be the guy to say it. My show is not about how bad it is. My show is about the solution. This channel, this network, this community is about God's answer to Satan and mankind's problems. These issues were not caused by God. These issues were not created in some cosmic, punish you. No, it is because good people have done nothing for far too long. And those times are changing. Mark my words. It's important that we acknowledge the fact that the elites that run our world today could not live the lives we live. When we consider their power structure and their power level, we're constantly met with this idea of this imposing force that could never be stopped. People go into Hollywood and politics and say, that they're going to make changes, and then they get in there and they totally flip on you, and you could say whatever you want to say. The latest example would be Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who went flying into politics screaming about how she was going to defund the police, and she meant it, defund the police. And then Mayor Bill de Blasio put in something about how they were going to defund 1/6 of the police department funding. It was $1 billion, right? And then they were going to do that. And then all of a sudden, she comes out as an even more extremist and doubles down and says, no, defund the police means fully defund. No money, no cops. And then everybody kind of saw what happens when even just a short bit of funding is cut. Chaos rises even more than it already is. And it's just not a good, pleasant environment. I don't like cops either. I don't like the fact that they're above accountability and that they're not treated as someone with an even higher standard of accountability than you or I. That's how it would be different in the kingdom country. People in charge of that have a higher standard. If they do wrong, they're held to a higher level. That's what you should have. But instead, you have tyrants bashing everyone's head in and getting away with it. It's definitely problematic. But nevertheless, I'm not against cops. You have to have them. You cannot have society being policed by randos running around making their own rules. You have to have a uniform code of justice, or else it doesn't work. And again, she decided to double down on her anti-cop thing, and then eventually it comes out in recent times she's changed, and she's no longer a defund the police person. And look, I'm not a liberal. I don't care. I'm just saying, look at how shiftless they are. None of these people do what they say. I'm preaching to the choir, I know. But we get example after example after example. Trump, no new wars. I remember reading that over and over again. Not that I believed it, but my God, the audacity. Imagine me wearing a t-shirt, no yellow glasses, and I'm just sitting here wearing them. What the heck? It's clown world. But I get it. It's the end. It's already over. That's why you see it. It's not, oh no, what's going to happen? No, it's like everything was built on this frame. And we stopped adding to it. We stopped advancing it. We stopped developing it. And it got really rotten and really rusted and really crusty. And it is screwed up. It is core. It is burnt. It is the worst thing you've ever seen. And the only reason it seems so bad and dire and whatever is because we don't have something new yet to move to. And every other time in history, when things get bad, people jump ship and go to the good thing, and the bad thing gets pushed away. It's like, it is the natural order. You can try to be like war and law and try to like propagandize people and whatever, but at the end of the day, it usually ends up being most people. They kind of have a consensus about how it should be, and it's maybe not perfect, but it's usually a lot better than the extremist perspective, and things usually mellow out, and eventually people are like, yeah, we're ostracizing you because you're antisocial and you're going in the institution. Things will eventually work out. I don't know why everyone is so bleak about all this stuff. It's literally on the path to getting better, even though it seems worse than ever. That's what it is. It's an infection. It is a metastasized tumor. It is like finally bad enough that we're ready to go to the doctor. Okay, good. Because we need the great physician if we're going to have anything to do about the state of the world. And now what came to my mind, and I wanted to touch more on this, is that the people running our world couldn't live our lives. So it's like I want to remind people that while we're so intimidated by them and their system and they all seem so smart, powerful, and established, these people are idiots. They're literally idiots. You go to work and your job could not be done by them. And you have to know that about yourself and have a little confidence, even if it's not like your job. You understand and know regular day-to-day concepts that these people don't even know about. They couldn't survive. You could take them. You could put them in a cheap apartment. You could give them a low-wage job. You could give them... it would be a really cool TV show, right? To take people that are detached from the current world and make them live like a 19-year-old college kid right now who's like working 40 hours at Starbucks and also in school and like barely making the apartment and the car is broken. So he like rides a bike 6 miles to work and stuff. Like put people like this in those shoes and watch them fail. And if they'll fail doing if they can't do the basic stuff that we do, who are they to rule and lead the world, right? We're always like intimidated by these politicians and figures, and I'm starting to realize they're weak as shit. They wouldn't even be here if their entire system wasn't on corpo Jewish life support. If it weren't for this massive network of lies and money, none of these people would be allowed at the party. They're all just like being thrust upon us, foisted upon us by a system that is literally dead. It's not dying, it's dead. There is no cohesion left in the name of America. Because what is? Well, America first or MAGA? Or is it Democrat Socialist of America? Or is it Democrat Party? Or is it Antifa on the far left? Is it Proud Boys? Is it Patriot Front? You know what I mean? You're fractionalized. It's the Rome has fallen. Okay? And I'm not saying that because it's like a bad thing. It's like if I tell everybody, oh, it's coming to an end. It's coming to an end. If I say it like, oh, woe is me, America's collapsing, everyone's like, you're so right, man. I resonate with that. It's just so bad how things are happening. But if I turn around and I say, it's all going down and we like it like that. Like if all of a sudden I'm like, it's collapsing, yeah. Oh, now I'm the harbinger of enslavement and future oppression. Now I'm the bad accelerationist Christian fascist who wants to ruin your life with the new coming nationalist kingdom order. It's like, it's the same factual observation. And if I don't like it, it's okay. But if I do like it, I'm the bad guy. That's what I've noticed. That's the general narrative. If I think it's okay that America's over, people are mad at me like I'm what, you a communist? Kind of. I mean, not really. Don't quote me on that. But I mean, Jesus Christ wants poor people to eat and have places to live. I'm not saying he's a communist. He's a monarchist. It's a monarchy. It's just that like a king that actually takes care of you. You know, they say benevolent monarchy is the greatest system of government in the world. Most people will agree. Because if you get someone who actually has the power and then they actually have the heart to do the right thing, they'll get it done. And you know, they lie about how they can't get it done when it comes to helping you, but they get it done when it comes to killing 200 schoolgirls on day one in Iran. So don't listen to a word these fools say. Donald Trump couldn't walk a mile in your shoes. He probably couldn't walk a mile at all. These people will die from attrition. These people will not survive in a contest of endurance in life. So the politicians that exist, they have to keep the 80-year-old ones because the new ones they raise up are even more worthless than their ancestors. And so you just have 89-year-old politicians refusing to go, refusing to die, or not refusing to die. In the case of Lindsey Graham, who died, and then they just appointed his sister into the office. I didn't even, this is the first time in my life I've ever seen that. Someone in the U.S. Senate dies, and so they just put their family member in. It's literally an oligarchy. They just put their family in and say, oh yeah, well, you know, it's a hereditary rulership. Well, the next person in the Senate seat must be Lindsey Graham's sister. Now they're like, she's polling so well, like no experience, nobody knows her, nobody likes her, nobody liked Lindsey Graham. Nobody liked Lindsey Graham before when he was super anti-Trump and pro-Republican neocon warhawk establishment. Then nobody was liking him when he embraced Trump's new Zionistic warhawk narcissism. It's like nobody ever liked this guy. And then he died and the internet celebrated, which is just terrible, but what can you say? And then it's like as if he or his family was popular at all, or as if the system was designed. Well, you know, United States democracy. When the elected official dies, we just install their family member through some arbitrary process. That's so crazy. Whew. I don't even know how we're making it this far, but I guess that's just... It's crazy, you know, and I get it. A lot of people don't want to stand up and do the right thing because it's been kind of boiled out of everybody. Like, I had somebody telling me a story about their coworker was driving to work, and there was like a 2-year-old toddler going down the highway. And they were like, oh, crap. And they pulled over and like called the cops and got the cops there and stuff. I don't know the details of the story, but generally what you have to realize is that by the time this person realized and stopped, that hundreds, at least hundreds, maybe dozens or hundreds of other cars had already driven by and just ignored the situation of a little baby running around unsupervised on the interstate highway. And that's super dark, you know what I mean? And I think that a lot of people would be really mad at all those people who turned a blind eye to that situation. And I'm not saying that that's okay, but people need to understand why this is happening. They've killed the Good Samaritan. They've punished the heroes of our society and made examples of them for everybody else. That whenever you stand up and say the right thing, or you stand up for yourself or for your people, or you stand up to do the right thing in general, like they always punish you, you know, and you can have a dangerous, violent felon on the train freaking out and trying to attack people, and you're trying to restrain them, and then they die. Well, you're a murderer and you need to be crucified, you know, and you're trying to protect people from a dangerous criminal thug. Like we've learned now that we've been conditioned that like you try to help the drunk girl get home and then she accuses you of rape or whatever. Like this is the crap that happens in this world because we're sharing our society with scumbags. We are living in our house with demons. Our house is full of demons and they are ruining our lives. And then when good guys want to rise up to do something, they get smacked down because the demons are sitting in the judge's seat and the demons are sitting in the executive office and the demons are standing on the talking heads on TV and they're the ones who sign your paycheck. And so demons run the world. It's all full of darkness. And so whenever anything bad is happening, good guys don't want to get involved because it takes a double dose of bravery to do anything about it. Who has a double dose? To be the guy that's brave enough to say, this isn't my situation, or lady, to guy or girl, to be the person who says, this is not my problem. I am assuming all kinds of risks that are not mine. I have no obligation. But I see a kid or a lady or a person, a dog, someone in danger, someone needs help. And so you go to be the Good Samaritan, you go to help them. But our society has created this extra layer of insulation to prevent you from doing the right thing by punishing good guys. And it happens time and time again. The convenience store clerk trying to defend himself from a maniac is charged with first-degree murder. They try to ruin your life as quick as they can. And even if a public outcry happens because you're lucky enough that your story makes the news or you're the right color at the right time, your story gets heard. So then they have to, I can't be seen as a completely inept, evil, criminal district attorney. We better drop the charges. But they would have liked to have had you spend 3 years in jail, lose your life savings, lose your job, lose your truck, lose your house, just because they tried to crucify you for defending yourself with a pistol from a maniac. That also is a race thing. It's so a race thing now. It's ridiculous. And anyway, because for one, I've never seen anybody else except a white man get sentenced to prison for his kids' crimes with guns. That's very wild. Okay. I mean, because if that was the rule, there's a lot of black kids who went and shot up their school or shot up the neighbors whose parents would be in jail because they're responsible, right? That is a double standard. There is a racist double standard. It's just not what you think. Crazy. But the Good Samaritan was executed by this culture and by this government that demands you adhere to iniquity. They demand that you suffer. They demand that you dwell in darkness with your head down because that's the only answer for you. Sit there and get attacked. Walk down the street, get punched in the face by a crazy guy. And if you say anything about it, it's justified because more racism. Yeah, tell me about how much sense that makes. Every rotten culture, every derelict, subhuman, degenerate culture that Christianity has conquered over the years is centered around this death and destruction. The focus of these cultures has been erosion, poison, death, and destruction. The elimination of anything good, the sacrifice of anything pure, the erosion of anything of integrity. That is what these lesser than Christian cultures have been. And in America, it was founded on the idea of being a Christian and better culture. It was about maintaining people's rights, holding the government accountable for maintaining those rights. That's what America was built upon. And now, America is a shell of its former self. And so these rights that are given to us by God really don't mean anything in the eyes of this government. And this government is rotten. This government is corrupt. And I don't think there's no better example of how corrupt and truly screwed up everything is than to look at the fact that within the last week, they've lifted the gestation limit rules on the abortion laws in Massachusetts. So now, effectively on paper, these heathens can just murder children on a whim whenever they want. Literally whenever they want. Now, you could say, well, as long as they're not born. But what's born? If we don't have gestation rules and someone can be born in 6.5 months or in 9 months, when's the day? It's as long as you kill the kid before anyone saw it. That's what the rules are now. And don't even get me started on what I really want to say about how if there's no gestation limits, well, what's wrong with a 30, 40 years post-birth abortion? I'd say the gestation rules don't really matter, and my health, access to mental health, because my mental health does not hold well when my world is being dominated by murderous heathens who want to tell me I'm a bad person for wanting to see them swing from a rope. You're a child killer. I am a heathen killer. We are not the same. And that's the difference. So I'm not going to feel bad about expecting that what these people deserve is to be wood chippered. Every single abortion doctor, you will be retroactively found and killed for treason. You will hang for violating the rights of the Constitution in this country. We are so unfortunate, so misfortunate that there's not a world constitution for human rights. Because we can, in 10 years, round up all of these people, charge them in a court of law, and execute them legally for treason. Celebrate today, you scumbags. You'll be crying tomorrow. Mark my words. We will set the course of this country and world right, and all of you heathens will be the first ones to pay the price for your murderous, disgusting behavior. You have authorized your own death. Your pro-death perspective is why you will go in the hole. That's the fucking truth. But the fact of the matter is, This is the enemy of humanity, the enemy of Jesus, the enemy of God. These child-murdering, ritualistic Satanists have been operating this death cult for as long as humanity can remember. And it wasn't until Jesus Christ came to the earth and taught the people of the earth a better way to live that cultures formed that were better than this. And the cultures that were better dominated those cultures and built a world that was worth living in for everyone who came. And we lived in America at a time in conflict and turmoil, even in all of the difficulties of this country's ancestry and history. We had it better than anybody else because the goal was to be more righteous, more Christian, to value life, to care about human rights, because they didn't come from some government of men, they came from God. And the only reason our government is even supposed to exist in this country is to protect those God-given rights. And the government in this country has fully betrayed it, and I don't care if it's 30 years from now, them and everyone connected to them, everyone who shares their name, everyone who worked for their business, everyone whose dirty blood hands touched this enterprise, you are all going in the hole. This is going to be a massive retribution. You're going to see a Nuremberg Trials 2.0 for crimes against humanity, like the likes of which has never been seen. The way they killed all those Nazi gate guards for simply holding open a door, oh, we're going to go farther than that. We're going to pursue these people to the end of the earth. If you even touched a donation to these camps, if you even had your hands on the button at all and did anything but fight against it, you are toast. And guess what? You've kept all the records. It's all on paper. We all know because you were all so proud of yourselves as you did it. So just know that we know who you are and you will not escape this. You will not escape retribution for what you've done in this life or the next. God knows what you've done, you foul animals. So, again, this is right along the lines of, these are rotten, inferior cultures, and the only reason it's risen up here in our own country is because Christians have grown far too weak and far too cowardly to do what's necessary to protect our children. It's disgusting and it's unacceptable. Not everyone in this country has to be a warrior. Pastor, what is he? Is he a doctor? I don't know. The great Father Marmar Emanuel, Orthodox teacher. You know, a Muslim charged into the church and tried to murder him, stabbed him in the eye and took out his eyeball. And Father Marmari came out within the same day and prayed for that man. He prayed for him. He offered him forgiveness. He wept for that man's soul. And I am touched. I am. And I think that people like Marmari Emanuel are an amazing example to us Christians of how we can become a peaceful, loving, wonderful person. And we should all hope to be more like Marmari Emanuel. But the kingdom of God is comprised of kings and priests. And priests have a duty to be there for widows and orphans, to feed and clothe and house sick people, to teach those with ears to hear and eyes to see. Priests have an incredible job of being caretakers of civilization, to look out for them and to cherish them and to encourage them and build them up. But kings have a responsibility to protect civilization. And Pastor Marmari Emanuel being stabbed in the eye, his grace in that circumstance was exemplary and should be applauded. But the failure on behalf of the kings in our society who even allowed that crime to take place, that is something that we all have to live with. Marmari Emanuel should never have had to worry about praying for a heathen who stabbed out his eye. He should never have to worry about extending forgiveness to someone who should never have made their way past the threshold of the door. One side of this kingdom has failed. There are many, many people who preach the gospel, who love God, who want peace on earth. But they require a safe building to teach. They require a safe community. They require a place of refuge for the widows and orphans to feed them and house them. How else are we going to care for the blighted on this earth if we don't have the infrastructure to defend them from the rampant heathen hordes who want to mass murder our children? Is it not widely known now that in 100 years of warfare, mankind killed millions of people? And in 100 years of abortion, women have killed 2.5 billion babies. It's not even close. So when I look at elites and I think, you can't even live my life, you're pathetic, you're nothing like me, and you're evil, and you're murderous, and I hate you, and I am not going to shed a tear for them. And I'm sorry to all of my brothers and sisters in Christ who must see the darkness exposed upon these people, who must see the wrath of God poured out upon them for their wretchedness. I'm sorry. Close your eyes. Turn away, Marion. Don't look at the ark as it blows up the Nazis in your favorite Raiders of the Lost Ark movie. Don't look. It's a terrible thing. And I'm not saying the ends justify the means, or what, two wrongs make a right, or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. But I need people to understand that this is coming. The warrior Christendom is coming. And I'm not here to tell you that I'm the head of it at all. It is burgeoning at the seams. The people will see honor restored to the world, and I don't care how many heathens have to go in the hole. Let me tell you guys a little something. I don't like it, but it's true. God kills people. That's a reality. And you can scroll your way through the scripture and try to figure out the total number of bodies that God has piled up, and you can just answer the question. How many millions of people do you think were alive on the earth when God flooded the entire place? How many women and children and animals were in those tribes that God ordered destroyed down to the very last one? Time and time again in history, God says that your physical body doesn't matter. It doesn't count. What matters is your heart and your soul. And when you prove with your physical body on earth that your heart and soul is wretched beyond a judgment that a court of man can decide, the only applicable judgment is before God's court in heaven. And it's our obligation to deliver you for your court date. So we have kings and priests forming up in the kingdom. If you're squeamish about doing justice for all of our innocent women and children, then go ahead and be a priest. Care for the refugees we're pulling out of the war zone. Okay, that's going to be your obligation. But for the kings of our civilization, we're rising to take the world back. We are not going to be told how to live by people who murder their own kids. They don't even get a seat at the debate table. We are not going to extend to them the decency of being a fellow human being, because they are a demon incarnated in human flesh. And if they don't repent, they'll go straight to seeing the Lord. That is the future of where this country and world is going. Christian people have been too nice for too long. The entire Christian world has been sitting idly by while heathens, demons, Muslims, and Jews have destroyed the world. And the time has come for Christians to rise and change that. And I'm sorry if that offends people. I'm sorry if that makes me the bad guy. Too damn bad. Now, with all that being said, since we're living in a world of shit, and I don't like it, and I know it needs to change, man, we have a lot of things to unpack here. The failed heathen system of America. Dear America, it's time to rest now. You gave a fair shot. You did your very best. Your ideals about freedom and life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, free speech, the right to keep and bear arms, those things are a fragment of a past memory. They are a storybook read in a children's preschool class. Dear America, you have failed us. The principles, the Constitution, the legacy, the potential, you failed us. America is a dead system. It's okay. It's okay. You can rest. Just close your eyes now. Just take it easy and just rest. It's over. It's okay. And then as America starts to wane on the hospital bed, I just take the pillow and start snuffing out the shh, 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 shh. And then I just whisper quietly into the ear of America as it's dying, as it's snuffing out, as I'm snuffing out this piece of heathen shit. You're snuffing, and I whisper in the ear, Destination Kingdom. And that's that, guys. America is not going to survive. The NPCs cannot continue to NPC. The system is falling apart, and I'm glad because we're ready to catch it. The new Christian future of the world is coming, and everyone else will have to get on board because you're going to have to pick between good and evil. Those are the two sides. Unified Christian, multi-creed, multi-race, multi-language, multi-nation. The future of humanity, progression, peace, harmony, prosperity, fair deals, alliances, trade, travel, fun, friends, family, all that good stuff, we're going that way, and the rest of these heathens are going in one direction only, the direction they've chosen for themselves. They love death, they worship death, they beg for death, they pray for death. Death is coming. And it's only fair since they poison us and kill us every day. It's what you deserve. Choose this day whom you will serve. Because Jesus Christ says you're either with me or against me, and I see plenty of people against him. They've chosen their side. All right, let's talk about it. We got about 20 minutes left. It's probably enough time to drive home the concept of tonight's episode, which I kind of didn't get to since I got so lit up on everything else. But listen, little man syndrome, okay? This is a concept of feeling inferior, right? And generally, you guys find this in culture, in society, as literally little man syndrome. Like if you're a guy who's not very tall, generally like 5'6" or less probably. I'm not a very tall guy, but I don't care. But I know that there are people who do. People who feel that because, especially as a man, that because you're not very tall, like you don't have a lot of power, you don't have a lot of authority, or that you don't have a lot of presence, or that you don't really matter. And society has done what it can throughout history to enforce that, either by the fact that when you're in a more primal world, being smaller doesn't help you in fights. And even when you're in a more advanced world, people tend to try and hire 6-foot executives. They like tall people with a big smile. That's just how it is. So being short sucks, okay? Let's just accept it. But there's a difference between being short and being a little man. And the difference is not how tall you are, but it's about the way you see the world. And this applies to women too. It's about having an inferiority complex. It's about recognizing that there are other people that are greater than you and allowing that to not inspire you, but to drive you to anger and contempt, jealousy and hatred. And so the cause of human weakness, what we see in little people, right, is because of an insecurity. It's because of inferiority. It's because of a lack of profound, outstanding, overreaching identity. That if all you are is a short guy in a world full of tall guys, that's pretty miserable, right? And it's simple enough, right? When you're a man in the kingdom of God, the height on earth doesn't even matter. God only knows he might have made you short because in the kingdom you're really tall and you needed some kind of, you needed a course correction because in the kingdom you're like one of the tallest dudes there is. So that's why you're a midget, because you needed to learn to be small to correct your your thoughts and your heart, you know? But nevertheless, right, this inferiority complex manifests in so many different ways in society and in culture, where people, for one reason or another, feel like because they're not big, they have to make a lot of noise and be a big, like make a scene, start a fight, try to prove to people how tough you are. And it's a sad thing. So, you know, you see people who they feel little, they act bad, they act insecure, and so even if they're not short. And so it proves that it's not really about being tall or short. So at the end of the day, little man syndrome, like as I said, it's something that we can relate to in knowing like little angry short guy or whatever who's like trying to start fights with people and stuff because he feels inferior. But there are, like I said, many examples of people who are not little and yet they act that way. So what's their excuse? What's the explanation? Again, like we said, it's an inferiority complex. And there's really no way to feel more inferior than to look at a world of carnal bullshit, realize you don't have what it takes, and then accepting that. Like, you have to be 6 foot tall, you need to make 6 figures, you need a 6-pack, or you ain't shit. What kind of a reality is that for someone? What a doomed world for a 5'6" poor kid who's fat. You know what I mean? You'll never be good enough. You'll never meet this world's standards, and how tragic, how dark. You know, it's where all this stuff comes from, all of this visceral iniquity, where everybody is so desperate to fit in that they'll do all these foolish and useless things to get other people to think they have virtue. Well, I drive this muscle car, I'm so cool. Or, oh, I'm Mr. Drug Dealer Rapper, look at all my money. Like that, as if you destroying your own life and the lives of other people actually makes you good or virtuous. It doesn't. And so little man syndrome is actually widespread. Because again, I've seen guys that are 6 feet tall on the internet complaining about women and their manosphere thing, and it's just like, dude, you're pathetic. There's literally millions of women on earth. They're not all that chick from college that screwed you over. Get over it. If you actually If you actually have any integrity, just talk about other things. Build a car, fix some furniture or something. Create something. Find a purpose. And it's just like what I was talking about when we're mentioning our recovery group, Kingdom Recovery, in the CDM Discord. It's like, you got to go from prison to purpose. Little man syndrome is the prison of inferiority. It's this idea that because you don't have whatever the world says you should have, that you aren't good enough. And if you allow yourself to live by those standards, you become terrible. You become an absolute shell of a person. Let's look at an example here that I have for you guys before we get too far out here and run out of time. Richard J. Flaherty was a United States Army captain in the Vietnam War and CIA agent afterwards, one of the smallest servicemen in American history, standing at 4 feet 9 inches, and inspired to undermine size prejudice, Flaherty was nicknamed the Giant Killer. He inherited Irish ancestry from a grandmother born in Fecal, County Clare. Fecal? One Bridget Smythe, and from a grandfather, Joseph Patrick Flaherty, born in the Aran Islands. Anyway, the long story short is he served a service career in Vietnam, 101st Airborne Division. He was a platoon leader and recon platoon leader with companies B, C, D, and E. In the 1968 Tet Offensive, Flaherty participated in the fierce defense of Hughes City, earning a Silver Star, 2 Bronze Stars, and 2 Purple Hearts. Decorated guy. And in this picture here, you see all these chaps. This guy, and this guy are kneeling. And this is our guy right here, Flaherty. I mean, look at how little he is compared to everybody else. And we're talking about a job. This is war. You're fighting in the trenches of Vietnam, in the jungles of Vietnam, against some of the most savage warriors America ever fought against. Viet Cong and even the regulars, man, those were tough sons of guns over there. And look at that little guy. He held his own. He didn't just hold his own. He was in charge of a whole platoon. Guys 6'5", listen to everything he said. Every word out of his mouth was like the only thing they were allowed to listen to, you know? And he did all kinds of things, you know? He lived a very rich career as a martial artist, and he always was proving people wrong. That, like, being short it didn't hold him back at all. He was incredibly successful. They call him the Giant Killer for a reason. Because being 4'9" and taking on everyone else's challenges was like a harder. He did what everyone else did on hard mode, you know? And he proved that being short that's not what defines you. So I look at politicians. I mean, look at the world, like the people that run our world, right? Look at Donald Trump. I mean, he's supposed to be over 6 feet tall. He's had nothing but wealth and success all his life. Everyone loving him. Everyone's celebrating him. He's had nothing but massive financial success. You know, he has never driven himself anywhere. He doesn't have a driver's license. He's got drivers who drive him places, helicopters and planes to travel around. This is a person who, like I said, he couldn't live a day in your life, couldn't walk a length of the arena concrete in my shoes, because he'd be sore and his bone spurs would be adding up or whatever. The point I'm trying to make is just that these people have so much more stuff than you. In the eyes of what the world says makes you big. The world says what makes you tall is height and stature and money and power and success and virtue and fans. All the things that somebody like Donald Trump has in droves, more than anybody else. And I look at him and I see nothing but a giant blob of shit. A giant, useless blob of shit that history will recall as a giant, useless, criminal Zionist blob of shit. And so it just proves that it doesn't matter how short you are or how absolutely massive and bloated and Zionistic and evil you are. It doesn't matter. What truly makes you a person of integrity and of power and of remembrance of value, it comes from what's in here, in your heart. And as cliche as that might sound, it's totally true. You look at somebody like Apostle Paul. He was the enemy of the kingdom. He was as bad as these people that we want rid of. And he realized he was wrong. He was sorry. He repented. He turned his life completely around. God can turn your enemies into your best allies. God can do that. And I always will leave room to believe that God can turn anyone around for the kingdom. I believe he still will. I think he has many, many more that he intends to turn over for good. But when it comes to like this little man syndrome thing, that's really what we're dealing with here. The world is run by a narcissistic cult of inferior, foolish, inept, stupid, ugly, hateful, idiotic. They're shit. They have nothing about them that elevated them to their position of success. It's like captain of the basketball team is 4'1" and can't play the game. It's not that he's short, he can't play. We have a leadership structure in our world comprised of people who were appointed, like Lindsey Graham's sister. Did she earn the vote of the people by being a great career politician, doing everything she always said, promises made, promises kept, like Donald Trump always says? No. And yet now they're drawing senator salary. Does that make any sense? These people are so gross. They're so terrible. They're so brazen, not because they're powerful or because they're all encompassing or because they're smarter than us or better than us. They act this way because they are lesser than us. And it's not limited to just the politicians. People lost in darkness cannot stand the light of truth. The sin comprehendeth it not. So when you come out here and you talk about how human beings deserve a right to live, and they say, no, women deserve a right to kill kids, that's a person lost in darkness. It's not that they are evil and deserve to be destroyed, but at the same time, they cannot be allowed to shepherd the flock. We cannot have the most susceptible and vulnerable people among us. Women, children, elderly, mentally ill, disabled, and otherwise. People who do not have the capacity to defend themselves should not be subjected to the will of these monsters who live among us. These demons that wear skin suits and pretend that they're just like me and you. I can see God finding the one in there and bringing them to repentance, right? I can see how it would be easier for them to repent if their way of life was pursued and oppressed and illegal. They would find it very difficult to be an evil, child-murdering, ritualistic Satanist, and so they would either succumb and acquiesce to the rule of law, or they would try to violate it and be eliminated as a result of it. But nevertheless, this wouldn't go on if we just simply resisted it. It's not about waking up one day and just mass murdering everyone who tortured us and ruined our civilization. That's literally not what it's about. It's about bringing us towards an acceptance of the fact that the world is going to change and starting to hold people to that and starting to say, you're not going to do that. No, like I've started telling people, like, I'll see stuff on Facebook every once in a while and it'd be people like talking trash about white people this, white people that. And I just say, if you're not anti-racist, you're racist. That's what the far left says. So if you say shit about white people that you wouldn't say about black people or Asians or Mexicans or whatever, don't say it. Or you're going to get the treatment that racists get. You prescribed it. We should stomp out racists. Okay. Heard. So that means everybody moving towards the kingdom, CDM, we're the anti-racist Christian group. We're the anti-misogynist Christian group. We're the unity faction. We're the good guys. And I'm not going to get told otherwise by anybody. Not Magogolin of Babylon and not what's his nuts with his stupid detraction channel. I don't care what sort of BS you're on. I don't care what you think you learned from Schofield or Futurism or some other piss doctrine. It's over. The kingdom is coming back. Dominion is returning to the hands of God's people, and there ain't a damn thing that anyone can do about it. It starts here. Mustard seed. Let's go. Guys, I don't know what else there is to say. I wish my notes had come back on because I know I had something else to add. Man, that Richard Flaherty guy, he served bravely. And he ultimately proved that, according to the Mark Twain quote that I have here, it isn't the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. I think that was also a Michael Scott where he tried to say he came up with it. And they're like, wasn't that Mark Twain? Yeah. Anyway, look, I think that maybe I get a little passionate and amped up, and I sometimes worry about some of my, really lovely Christian people in this community that are like, well, we can't kill everyone. And I'm like, I know, but we got to get rid of some of them. There's no getting around it. I'm sorry. But again, kings and priests, some people have to care for the people and some people have to protect and facilitate that care. And so that's the difference, right? Like, don't be mad when the king goes away to war. The reason we leave like the women and children and like certain peasants and factory workers and stuff behind is because they're supposed to be here doing that. And other people are meant to take the fight to the enemy, and that's who I am. So that's why I'm here. And I know I'm not the only one. I keep looking. I see all these people, and I'm like, the Confederation is coming, you guys. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. It's the only reason why I'm so bent on this. It's the only reason why I'm getting serious about this, because it's time. The time has come. The world is changing. Everyone knows it. Everyone feels it. People are scrambling. People are complaining. People are freaking out. The only answer is that God's future is destined. It's coming. He's the author and perfecter of our faith, and he is the finisher of his plan. His work is done. What happens in the time between now and God's eternal restored order, I can't tell you. I can't tell you if we'll live to see God's kingdom descending from the clouds and establishing a new order on earth. I would love to be a part of that, to live to see that. But that's not the point. I live there now as though I was there already. Because this life, this body, this time doesn't matter. Die to this world so that you can truly live. That's the message of Jesus Christ. And it might make me sound like a bad guy to say, well, we're going to kill all these heathens and throw all the pedophiles and wood chippers. Like, okay, well, they're going to kill me too. They'll probably assassinate me before this is done. Just know that. I honestly don't care. I think about it so much. Like, for a lot of people, they can come in and out of this stuff, but I can't. It's the only thing that I think of. And I'm like at the end of my rope because I hate the conflict so much. I want peace more than anything. I hate the conflict. There are so many people that I'm just like, if I was Solomon, I'd just like scoop them up and put them somewhere else. You don't have to be executed. Just, you're on Madagascar now. Nope. Bye. Yeah, I would literally just deport people because I don't like them, because they're not submitted. They don't fit. You don't fit. You're a racist. You're a piece of shit. Bye. Deported. Exiled. What do they call it? You're cut off. They throw you out of the gates and don't let you back in. You usually die because you can't feed yourself in the wilderness. Again, all of this is a product of a failure. And as much as we want to blame the enemy for doing what evil does, we have to remember that it's our fault. It's our fault. The heathens who murder kids were doing that before Jesus came and established his kingdom. They're doing it again because they don't see it. They don't fear it. You got to know that in the back of their head, they're wondering if maybe one day they'll be charged for this. They just think, we'll win. They're hedging their bets because who's opposing them? They don't know that you exist. They don't know that the world is full of 1/3 Christians who are sick of their shit. But they're about to find out. They need to find out. They need to realize. Because maybe, just maybe, the imposing threat of what's to come will cause people to second guess their bad behavior. It's one thing to post online with reckless abandon about how all white people need to be eliminated. But, do you say that when you're, surrounded by white people at the what? You know what I mean? You don't. They don't. Because it's mostly just hyperbolic bullshit, and the way you get rid of it is by calling for demanding order. We are not asking permission to make the world a better place. We're not just declaring the truth. We're going to impose it, and we're going to treat untruth and lies and degenerate destruction with the same indifference that they've treated their own children. And I think that's far fair enough. So the USA is dividing, culture war and race war, and now they're trying to make a third political party, and the end is nigh, and we like it, okay? Failed heathen system. And that's okay. It has to go. It has to. And we'll keep whatever's valuable and we'll install it in our new setup. This is our exodus now. And it's not about us leaving. It's about sending the old way packing. Let me remind you guys one more time that in the very last book of the Bible, God's prophecy to us, Jesus Christ, his prophecy to us is that there'll be a time where there is no more conflict like this. No more divisions, no more people wanting to kill their kids and call it health. There won't be weeping and mourning and 200 little Iranian girls killed. I say what I say about Islam in general, but I have so much love for those people. It breaks my heart so bad that we're at war with Russia or Islam, Iran, one of the oldest and most rich cultural places in the world. Like, this shit's broken, dude. And as much as people might not like the idea of how many people we're going to have to get rid of to get it right, I mean, I can see the prosperity on the other side. I know that China and Russia and Iran and Afghanistan, Israel, the people living in Israel, the people in every normal city who have to go to stupid jobs, who have to do this stupid system, who just are wasting away. Our time's just disappearing, people. Our lives are just withering away, and these elites are just sucking us dry. They're leeching us dry. And you look at somebody like George Bush Sr., dead at 96 years old, and QAnon people will be like, Trump got him. He lived 96 years doing whatever he wants. At the very least, a lap of luxury. At the worst shit you can imagine. 96 years. Oh, we got him. I mean, I know he's in hell. God got him. But we should do a better job down here in our area, man. I'm embarrassed. I get the feeling God's looking at us and saying, like, the opposite of well done, my good and faithful servants. He's like, what the heck are y'all doing? Is anything you're doing important? Is it worth making a 2-hour video detracting from the only guy who's trying to, like, organize the Christian church back together, who's trying to bring the kingdom back together on earth, and you're trash talking a Sunday service? Get behind me, Satan. You're trying to pass laws that allow you to murder your kids up to birth. Get behind me, Satan. You're trying to bomb little girls on day one with a highly accurate tactical missile system. Get behind me, Satan. To the system of man, to the heathen networks, to the false teachers, and to all the false religions of the world, you have officially been put on notice. The kingdom of God will be restored to this earth. His will be done on earth just as it is in heaven. Every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. And you will confess it in this life, or you will confess it on your knees at judgment. And you will decide whether you arrive at judgment in your old age, or whether you decide if you will join it soon as a result of the conflict that's coming. But nevertheless, God's will be done. There was no time when the devil could do a thing to Job without God's consent. So put yourself in the position of victory and understand that you have already won. Jesus Christ has overcome the world, and now his people just need to figure out how to overcome themselves. That's the message. We are not inferior. We are not little men. We are the Davids, and the world is our Goliath. God has created you for just this age and just this time. The conflict is at maximum capacity because you are the conflict resolution people. You were born to be alive in this time. It is no accident. It is no mistake. And I believe it fully in my heart. I have never been more sure about anything in my life. God is calling his people to rise up, to set aside your petty doctrinal differences, and to focus on what's really important. If we're talking about prioritization, firstly, we are talking about the transformative work of Jesus Christ, who in his blood and death has been the propitiation of our sins and has built the path for all of us to rise to greatness in his kingdom. Amen. That's where this begins. Each one of us must accept and understand the new life resolution we must have in Christ. That living for ourselves, living for money, living for cars, living for fame, living for fortune and virtue and success and happiness and all these fleeting things that don't make you taller or shorter or richer or poorer, those things don't affect who you are in eternity. Your heart is what decides who you are. Have a heart of Christ. Have a heart for righteousness and justice and order. Seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, and everything else will be given to you. What it is you need to matter, what it is you need to feel important, to feel good. You are living in a prison. It's time to go from prison to purpose. And when you have your purpose, when you have your new life resolution and you realize that your life is better with God, that your life is better as a citizen of his kingdom rather than a citizen of America or the United Kingdom or Africa or China or wherever it is that you live, you're better off as a citizen in his kingdom. And when you realize that, you realize everyone is better off as a citizen in his kingdom. And so you finally understand the need for the new world resolution. That it's not just good enough that any one of us becomes Christian and is saved, but that the whole world should be saved. And so you take this, I always talk bad about evangelism, but hey, evangelism's a step on the road. People need to hear the message of the gospel. If you feel called to preach the message of the gospel, stand up and preach it proudly, okay? I think that's great. I'm not against evangelism. But our job does not stop with simply teaching. Our job is about dominion. Subdue the earth and have dominion over every living thing. And I don't know how you would do. Do people swim in the sea? Do they fly in the air? Do they creep on the ground? Do they move on the ground? Depending on... People are on that list too, I'm telling you. I'm just telling you right now. King of kings and Lord of lords. Jesus Christ is a King of kings. You, kings and lords, are the people he is king over. So he's talking about a shared kingdom. His kingdom and your share of his kingdom. Okay? So you rule in this place too. There's no time in the Bible where, I mean, obviously you want to be a servant, but even the prodigal son is not a servant. He's a son. Remember? He comes home and says, well, let me be a slave in your house. And the father says, why? You're my son. So just remember that, guys, that you're not a slave to sin and darkness. You are a son of God. And in Christ, you have earned the right to say that about yourself and to believe that about yourself, to know it about yourself, and to want that for everyone else. And you are not wrong for doing it. If there's any cause worth fighting and dying for in life, it's so that people might know his kingdom, know his love, and live under that rulership. We can't necessarily make it happen. God's the one who decides. But we better have the attitude to try with all of our might. That's all I have for you guys tonight. I think we spent too much time mistaking weakness for kindness. And I think that it's time that we replace kindness with meekness, which means that we need to have the power to do what needs to be done and the benevolence to often not. With all that being said, you guys, I think that's pretty much it. You guys have been listening to Level 101 of the Main Character Podcast, made possible by the Christian Dominion movement. That's you guys. I'm Con Man. Thank you all for being here. Trust God, take the risk, do the work, because we believe that the truth should not only be declared, it should be imposed. We are not asking to make the world a better place, and it all begins right here with this community. Consider joining us on our Discord group, CDM. Join us in one of our subgroups for prayer, fellowship, or some recovery assistance if that's what you need. We're here for you. We love you all. Thank you for being here. This is the fight of our lives, and we are officially engaged in it. God bless you all. Godspeed to all of you guys. I will see you all in the next one. Thank you all for being here. Take it easy.
1,000 years have expired, Satan will be released from his prison. He will go forth to deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together for the final battle, an army whose number is as the sand of the sea.
It's amazing the affirmations that come my way when I fake it until I make it. The truth is waiting, complacent organizations. They say I'm racist, they hating, they making payments on my vacation. I'm the man, I'm the king, I'm rejecting what you think. Rearranging your mentality, got some Kool-Aid you can drink. It's a scam, it's a plan, it's a con, and I'm your man. You know I tell it like it is, I hold the secrets in my hands. Reflection and introspection is my